Alrighty, so just put the order in for the new PC. Now I've got to head down to Melbourne and pick it up. Yeah, and then build a computer. I haven't built a computer for probably 15, 20 years. And a lot has changed. Alright, let's jump in the van and go pick it up. Not that I need the van for all the parts, but it's actually pretty tiny. The computer that I built. Zoom that up. Well, yeah. The computer that I'm building is actually fairly tiny. Don't want some massive tower thing sitting on the floor or the bench. I just hope that the fans that I got are big enough to support it. Alrighty, back from Melbourne. That was a 3-hour round trip, mainly because I've got the parts now. I don't have to rely on Aussie Post to deliver it in maybe a month's time from 160 k's away. So I guess I'm a full-time YouTuber now, because now I'm building a computer for YouTube essentially, mainly because I can't process 4K video on my old laptop. If you see here, I've got like it's called an Intel Nook. That's just my everyday computer, just for doing whatever. Little fella plays Fortnite on it, believe it or not, at pretty much the lowest settings, so he's going to lose his mind over this computer once it's all up and running. Because obviously when I'm not editing, he's going to be playing games on it, so pretty much it's a dual-use computer. Now, believe it or not, in a previous life I used to do this for a living, build computers, service computers, all that fun stuff. Since then, a lot has changed. So when I was servicing, building computers, that sort of thing, let's just say a 16 megabyte USB drive was close to $500. A 16 megabyte, not gigabyte, 16 megabyte was close to $500. And 3.5-inch floppies were still around. And believe it or not, I started working on computers when DOS was around and Quick Menu was the only GUI interface. And yeah, installing Windows 95, I think it's close to 40 3.5-inch floppy disks, and some of those disks don't work, so then you have to try and get that numbered disk to finish installing Windows 95. Yeah, kids these days, they don't know, they don't understand. Now mind you, that's the new hard drive. Yeah, M.2 SSD, 1 terabyte. Cheaper than a 16 meg, actually 4 times cheaper than a 16 meg USB drive from back in the day when I was building computers. So yeah, mind you, I haven't gone full out there with absolutely everything, top of the line, what you can get. This computer here is about 3/4 the price of my first family computer from the early 90s, which was a 486 DX266, running DOS and Quick Menu and 3.5-inch floppy. And I believe it maybe had, off the top of my head, like a 60 or 100 megabyte hard drive. Off the top of my head, I can't really remember. Not much at all. So over the years, even since when I was building computers, all the Pentiums up to Pentium 4s, the main motherboard size you could get was ATX. So you can get ATX, micro ATX, or like a micro ITX board now. I've gone with a micro ITX board, mainly because I like the small form factor. This computer here has done well for what it is. Let's open this up. That is the new motherboard. It's the size of my hand. Look at that. How good's that? So by choosing your main board, or motherboard, depending on what you want to call it, that's going to determine your case size, essentially. Or other way around, you can choose your case and then the boards to suit. You got a big case, obviously you can fit a board in. If you go a full ATX style board, which is probably about that big off the top of my head, you get a lot more slots that you can put stuff in. So it's a lot better if you need to run multiple graphics cards and that sort of thing. I don't, so I haven't gone overboard with that sort of thing. What I've done though, is if you're a computer nerd, you understand what all this means. It's suited for an AMD. I have gone all out on the AMD chipset. I don't know if you can read that just there, but this is the Ryzen, it's the Ryzen 7 7800 X3D, which claims it is the fastest CPU for gaming at the moment. So that's pretty much the computer system. Then you need everything else memory wise and speed wise and all that sort of fun stuff to control it. So as I showed before, hard drive, Samsung 980 Pro, 1 terabyte, M.2 SSD. That board maxes out, it's a DDR5 board, it maxes out at 64 gig. So let's max it out, 64 gig. The main part that everyone talks about for playing games and processing video and that sort of stuff is the graphics card. Currently, what claims to be the best graphics card out there is the GeForce 4090. It is way too expensive. That card is pretty much on par with everything that I've bought price-wise. The 4070 Ti, yeah, it's still way too expensive for what it is. Then you can go for the AMD side, which is the top of the line 7900, I think XTX, I think it is off the top of my head. Haven't gone for any of that. I've gone for the best budget card I could get for the price, which is a 3070 Ti. This is going to be more than enough for what I need to do. It's a very good card, and I'm just hoping that it fits in the case. It should. Now, so that's the graphics sorted. Fresh version of Windows. Sure, you can download that and then pay to get a product key, but can't be bothered. Now, this computer in a small case is going to heat up. So I did get a decent fan, CPU fan. I'm not going to look at water cooling it just yet. We'll wait and see what happens in summer. At the moment, it's winter. I need a bit of a heater in this room, so we'll see how hot this computer does get. But that's the CPU fan. Look at that. That's the box for the CPU. That's the main board. So, decent fan, decent heatsink, and it's got like a 6-year warranty. It's a Noctua D12L. The main thing that everyone's going to look at when they walk into the room is the case. There's the case. Torrent Nano by Fractal. Very basic. I didn't even get the one with the RGBs in it. Just throwing it out there. I'm not a fan of RGBs in computers. It's just distracting, especially when you look into the screen, you see these little colors going off to the side. It's just not my thing. It's more for people, check out my room, check out how pretty it is, I've got colors everywhere. Performance-wise, it means nothing. Like, I'm pretty sure this fan's even brown. Not gonna see it, it's gonna be hidden away inside a case, I don't care. What else did I get? Just a new DisplayPort cable, because I don't have one long enough, because I'm planning to put the computer here for us to run cables. I've only got like a bit over a meter cable. That's a 3-meter one. And to power it all, Corsair SF750. These have been around for a very, very long time, for very good reason. They do their job, and they do their job well. Now, where to start? Where to start? Where to start? Maybe I'll take everything off. We'll get the main board out. We'll drop the computer chip in and put the memory in and all that fun stuff. So let's do that. I still haven't got my big camera out of my bags on my motorbike yet, so that's why all this. So in saying that I'm a professional YouTuber now, I'm gonna have to put this to use. While I was on my trip up to Cape York, I got my first payment from YouTube. So if anyone's thinking that I'm rolling in it to be able to afford all this. No, that payment, which was probably 2 years in the making of uploading videos and that sort of thing, just on and off, was enough to pay for 1 day's worth of fuel on the motorbike. Maybe not even 1 day. It was like 2 tankfuls. Yeah, it was like 2 tankfuls of petrol for the motorbike. So this is fun for me. It's not for money or anything like that, but you're going to see a lot more videos being uploaded because I like doing this sort of thing. Right, enough of that. Let's build the computer. Alrighty, so the MSI B650i Edge Wi-Fi, suited for AMD style chips. It's not really an unboxing, but I know there's stuff in the bottom here that I need, so let's get all that out. Oh, fun. Cables, antennas. Yeah, keep out of reach of children. There's a button battery in there somewhere. Don't go licking computer parts. Oh, look at that. Some stickers. Don't know what for. Cables. Probably can write on them. And a set of instructions. Don't need them where we're going. Unless something goes wrong, then you need the instructions. Until that happens, you just wing it. Alright, touch metal and all that sort of junk. Should use a static mat. I don't have one. Never used one. Don't care for them. And all that jazz. Alright. So while we're here, just take some stickers off. I don't care too much for stickers. I suppose that's where you're supposed to put the other stickers. They've got like a dragon. So I suppose that means lots of performance. Graphics PCI slot, 2 memory slots, SATAs, USB 3, power. I think I have to take these risers off, but we'll get to that, to fit the fan. That's down the track. Alright, let's break the security seal. One thing you're supposed to check is that all the pins are correct. So massive box, just for that. You get a nice little Ryzen sticker as well, which you can do with as you please. I find this pretty funny, like you see on YouTube and that sort of stuff. AMD red team, and then you've got NVIDIA, which is the green team. So it's a whole, I don't know if they're going for like a political statement. Like red versus green, red versus blue. Don't care too much for it, really. Alright, on the back here, don't know if you can see, you've got a flash CMOS and flash BIOS button, so you don't have to go all the way inside. Please do not over tighten CPU water block to prevent any injury. Yep, don't worry about that. Alright, that's all the stickers, I'm pretty sure. If you're going to test this, you can put it that way, because then when you put the GPU in, you can use the side of the box to hold it up. We don't have to worry about that. Alright. Find the arrow, which is up the top there. Find the arrow on this one, which is also at the top. Should be no pins bent because no one's touched this at all. Drop that in, sit that down. and we are installed. Keep that for sentimental value. I don't know anyone that's ever just, sold a computer chip. You hear about it, you go, oh, I just sold my computer chip. Well, why? Well, if you upgrade your computer, I don't know, I don't upgrade that often, so if I was to upgrade, I upgrade the main board and the CPU at the same time, because the CPU doesn't suit, the new CPU doesn't suit the old board, that sort of thing. Yeah, alright. No point carrying on about that. What to do next? We will unscrew this and we'll do the SSD. So in that bag, you get a couple of spare screws. One of these you use for the SSD. Pretty sure they're all the same. Yep. Same deal, there's thermal paste here covered with a sticker. Take that off. Put that somewhere. Look at that tiny hard drive. Terabyte. Just think what they're going to have in another 15 years. Mind you, I'm not going to plan on keeping this computer for 15 years. I've just had laptops and that sort of thing. Mainly because it's been easy. There we go. There we go. We're in. Oh no. You know, I just realized they were supposed to give me two 32 gig chips. And they've given me two 16s. There's only 2 slots on the card. Alright, looks like we're running 32 for the time being. I'll get that fixed up. Make sure you get in the right way. Alright, empty box, empty box, empty box. Ideally, I'll put the CPU on. Oh, sorry. Leave that over there. Ideally, I'd put the fan on the CPU, but we'll just take it out of the box for the minute, just to have a look, because it might be more beneficial to put that in the case before we go any further. Alright, all the boxes. Okay, let's have a look what's in this one. Thermal paste and everything to attach it. And yes, I do need to take those risers off that board. That's all good. Pretty sure that's your AMD ones. Yep. We've got everything in here. This might actually come in handy for the bike. Oh, fancy little metal badge to put on the case and everything. Right, definitely don't lose any of that. So we need a degree to actually open the box. People actually have degrees in designing these boxes, so good on them. You need a degree to learn how to open the box. Check out that monster. That's not even the biggest one. Huge. Oh, stay still. Suppose you can go back in the box. So that doesn't want to go back in. All right. One box out of the way. Now have a look at this monster. If I bring the board back, the CPU, which way are we going? We're probably going to go that way. Look at it. What a monster. I could put it on now. I could. But I won't. Mainly because I think you can actually spin the fan around. I just want to make sure I get that in the right orientation. But you do need to take the fan out to fit it. So we will do that. Just pop the springs off. What a beast. So you can get down and screw it in that way. All right. Next up is just going to have to wait because I need to go. All right, so next up, the box, I suppose, the case. We will open that up and yeah, we'll see what it all fits in or not. So I just need to take these plastic ones off. I don't know if you see. Just need to take these plastic ones off and replace them with these after putting these grey risers on. Just need them, I don't need the screws. Yep. I'm going everywhere. Put the screws back in. There's all lots of, so like all these are all spare, heaps spare actually. Alright. It's the tool that it all came with, so. Oh, actually no, I do need those screws. Alright, so I need those screws because they have to go through the risers obviously. Alright, put them on. Put them on so they face curve inwards. Grab the longer screws. Just felt that lift up a little bit when I was screwing it in, so I was making sure, see how far they were coming through. Don't have to do it crazy tight. Good enough. The extra thing I should need out of that is the thermal paste, got spare clips and everything. So you can see on the box, got AMD and Intel, tells you which ones to use. We are done for that. All right. Now, case-wise, here it is. There we go, look at that. Fractal. And it all just levers off like so. And the top comes off like that. And you can see the hard drive up in here. Power supply in the back. And there's all little Velcro cable management all throughout. So what I'll do now is I will put it all in, put it together, probably get to the point where I need to put the we'll get to the point where I need to put the graphics card in and fire it back up, because this bit's actually pretty boring. It's just screwing stuff in and plugging it in. So yeah, like as you can see here, it should fit in fairly well in the back. Nice and tiny, look at that. Hopefully heaps of room, like even though it's a small case, it's fairly ventilated. The bottom's all mesh, power supply's at the top, heat can go up. I've got it so the GPU's sucking in air from the bottom, and then the air will push it all the way through. I may need to get a 120mm fan for the back, maybe, but we will see how we go. All right, I'll put it back together and get back to you. All right, she's all together, so let's plug it in and fire it up. All right, first boot it into BIOS, not a problem. Just plug the Windows drive in. So now it should boot directly off that USB. Let's have a look. Waiting. And waiting some more. Beautiful. All right, so I'll go through and do a Windows install now, and then we'll see where we're at.